Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm so glad that you stopped by. What we're going to talk about today is the very first step that you need to take before you start to garden. So let's get started. Now, before we get started, I do have this beautiful tray of starts. And I would love to plant every single one of these, but just because we have some warm weather right now doesn't mean I can go planting anywhere. I'm still trying to plant under the frost covers just to be safe. And because we had a few plants that died on me during the frost, under the frost covers, I'm gonna go and switch them out, which is why I always encourage people to have backups as well as backups for your backups. But let's go ahead and talk as I plant this bed. So just to kind of tell you what we're doing here, I am switching out a lot of the rapini raw broccoli. It just, as you can see, it died on me during the frost. The kale and the broccoli are doing great, but I'm going to change these out for some kale, a different type of kale than what I have here at the ends. And so we're gonna chat as I do that. So friends, if you're wondering what that first step is to gardening, it's gonna be the question, why? Why is it that you want to garden, and why do you want to continue to garden? As we go ahead and plant these starts, I'm going to share with you what my why was and also why I have continued to garden year after year. So my big why for gardening was, there's a couple reasons. One, I'm quite frankly sick of the high-priced food. Even though gardens are definitely an investment, I was sick of the high-priced foods. But I also love the idea of just going in my backyard and picking fresh produce without having to go run to the store and waste my time and my gas. But it really boiled down to having the freshest possible produce for my family. Because sometimes, and I don't know if it's just me, you guys, but sometimes I feel like going to the grocery store, it just doesn't always have the best produce. I don't know exactly where it came from. I don't know, if there was actual pesticides, even though they claim to be organic. Those were my thoughts. And so I went ahead and just said, we're going to do a garden. And then it became a matter of excitement when I found success with gardening. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of failures, but I've learned a lot in those failures. And I'm actually quite grateful for the failures that I've had with the garden because it's taught me to be stronger, but it's also taught me the right way to do things. My main why was for fresh produce, but also I just wanted to have security knowing that I was getting the best produce, but also that I had the ability to go in my backyard and pick fresh produce without having to rely on the grocery stores. Because I don't know about you, but during 2020, when I went to the store to go get even something as simple as chicken, I'll never forget the feeling I had when I went to the store and I could barely get any produce and I could barely get any chicken for my family. It was not a good feeling. And so between that and making sure my family had good, healthy, fresh produce is the biggest reason why I started to garden. Now, let's kind of talk about why I've chosen to continue to garden. The reason I continue to garden is really the same reasons why I chose to garden in the first place, but it's become more than that now. Because recently, as you know, because I have a YouTube channel, hopefully you can see my face. I want to talk to you for a second. I guess I can't do two things at one time. So my why as to why I continue to garden, sorry, I'm saying why a lot, but it's all the reasons, as I just said, as to why I started to garden. And that is for my family, it's for fresh produce, it's being able to come out to the back of my house and pick food out, knowing that there's food there and not relying on the stores all the time. Does that mean I don't go to the stores? Absolutely not. I go to the grocery stores. I definitely buy from other companies. I do Azure hauls on my channel as well. I love Azure Standard. It's a great company. I do use the stores, but I have just fallen in love with the idea of being able to grow produce and food for my family right in my backyard. It is a huge, huge reason why I continue to garden. But the other reason is the ability to be able to help people and to encourage people and to show others that they can garden as well. Because I understand that there are people out there. I was just on the phone with somebody the other day and they feel like they can't garden. And I told them you can garden, you can do it. My encouragement would be to always start small. Now, I did not do that in the very beginning because that's just my personality. I go big or go home. Like all I do is like when I start something, I don't know how to start small. It's just not how I am. But I would encourage others to do that because it was quite stressful for me the first year or two because I felt like there was just so much troubleshooting and I was constantly looking stuff up on YouTube. But with all that being said, I want to be an encouragement to other people. I think gardening has become not only a stress reliever, but it's just a peaceful place. There's something about growing your own food and being in the soil and planting your starting starts from seed or purchasing them. It doesn't matter, either one. It is just such a wonderful feeling to be able to grow something for yourself and for your family. And so that's become another why in my journey as why I continue to garden is because I want to be an encouragement. I also want to share this with my kids and teach them how to garden and be just an encouragement for anyone. So those are my reasons why I started and why I continue. And so I would really encourage you and challenge you to answer that question to yourself as to why it is that you want to garden and what makes you want to continue to garden, even if you have failures, because you're going to have failures and it's okay. You're supposed to have failures. That means you're doing something right, because the only way that you're going to continue to learn and continue to grow is through failures. Because as you continue to fail, you're going to get success and you're going to know the 99 ways not to do something and then that number one way to do it. So those are my whys. I hope this is an encouragement to you all. That's really the goal of this video, is just to get you thinking, because if you have that foundation, which I do believe that's the foundation of gardening, is knowing why. If you know why you want to garden, you're not going, failure is just not going to be an option for you. I know for me, when I made my mind up, failure was not an option. And as you saw, I'm like 10 beds and like almost 100 buckets later and bags, and 17 green stalks later. Failure was just not an option. Like, for instance, potatoes. I have a hard time growing potatoes to the abundance that I want. I do grow potatoes, but not to the amount I want. So you're going to fail. And so having that foundation of why is so crucially important. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, because once you have that, moving forward is going to be fine. It's going to be good. It's all you have to do is stay the course. Okay, so I'm going to get back to planting here and we're going to keep talking because it is getting dark on me. And if I don't plant these, I'm not going to have any plants to put in. But, I hope that with what I'm sharing with you all really helps and gives you hope, because I remember a couple of years ago when I'm like, I'm going to garden. Like I said, it was really difficult for me. I had some successes, I had some failures, and quite frankly, I was very frustrated because sometimes I didn't know why something died and I had to go look it up. And then you have, YouTube is wonderful, but when you're going to a bunch of different sources, sometimes it's really hard. So I went to, the channels and sources that I felt were very helpful, and I kind of stuck with them. But I'm going to tell you something. For me, the best teacher was the experience in the garden. Yes, I learned a lot from watching stuff and reading things, but it was also my experience in the garden that was one of the biggest teachers as I started to have, as I had my garden journey, was my experience in the garden. Aren't these colors so pretty? This is my first time growing red Russian kale. Now I'm losing focus already because it's getting dark out, but it's a beautiful color. I can't wait till these grow larger. Hey friends, this is me later after I recorded this, and I just want to interject here. By the way, sorry for the in and out of focus, but it was the evening time, which was the only time I had to come out here that day, and it really pressed on my heart to do this video because I want to help others feel confident in their gardening journey. Whether you're a new gardener or someone who tried it and thought you couldn't do it, everyone starts somewhere. Even those who are amazing at gardening had to start from the beginning. So remember, friends, if I can garden, you can too. So friends, I hope that by me sharing why I started gardening and why I've continued to garden was an encouragement, but also a way for you to think about why it is that you want to start gardening. Because once you have that foundation as to why it is that you want to garden, then moving forward, it's going to be something that you enjoy doing. It's going to be something, now you will have, some things along the way that frustrate you. I know I got frustrated along the way. I still sometimes do. I'm dealing with aphids right now on a lot of my seedlings in the garage. It is beyond frustrating, but for me, the backyard garden and being able to pick fresh produce, outweighs me having to deal with those aphids. I'm okay with dealing with those aphids. I don't want to, but it's something that I'm willing to deal with so that my family has fresh produce. That's my why. That's why I continue. And so I just hope that this gets you to really think about what it is that you want out of your gardening. And I just want to be an encouragement along the way, which is what my channel is about. It's about sharing my garden, showing my garden, the failures and successes. Like for instance, I wanted to come out here and plant this bed as I did this video because that rapini raw broccoli was a failure. It froze on me from the freeze, even with the frost cover on. But I learned something from that because the broccoli didn't freeze, but the rapini broccoli did. So I guess rapini broccoli is not frost tolerant even with a frost cover. So I learned something from that. And I've had some failures with rapini raw. This isn't the first time, but I've learned a lot from that. And so I just want to be encouragement. I know I'm probably long-winded here. I just really want to get across to you all that you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't garden, because you can. If you know your why, and you have that solid foundation, you can garden. And I'm going to root for you all the way through. And I'm going to share my failures and successes so you can see that it is attainable, even if you don't have a background in gardening. Because I was not raised on knowing any of this. And so I just want to be an encouragement to you all. You can do it. Well, friends, it got dark on me. I am so ready for summertime. It's not even funny, but I cannot end my video without saying goodbye. I greatly appreciate you all stopping by all the time, and I really look forward to seeing you all next time. And always remember, friends, please remember this. I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.